Welcome to History Channel. Be sure to subscribe and like so you don't miss out on more videos like this one. A homeless man receives a rare moment of dignity at the Hotel de Gink in 1915 New York, a shelter founded by hobos themselves during harsh economic times. Volunteers offered food, lodging, and even a shave, capturing a fleeting glimpse of compassion amid the struggles of early 20th century urban poverty. Cuban Liberation Army cavalry stand proudly in Villa Clara around 1898, their worn uniforms and horses reflecting years of resistance against Spanish colonial rule. These fighters, part of Cuba's long war for independence, symbolize the determination and endurance that eventually led to the birth of a free Cuban nation. A Valencian soldier of the Spanish army poses in Havana around 1895, just before the outbreak of the Cuban War of Independence. His disciplined stance hides the fatigue of Spain's dwindling colonial power, as nationalist uprisings across the Caribbean began reshaping the empire's fading global influence. The heart of Würzburg lies in ruins in the autumn of 1945. Months after one of the most devastating air raids of World War II, nearly 90% of the city was destroyed in a single night, leaving behind hollow streets and silent churches, a haunting reminder of war's indiscriminate destruction. Florida police officer James Duckett is fingerprinted following his 1987 arrest for the murder of 11-year-old Teresa Maccabi. Once trusted to protect, his uniform became a symbol of betrayal. The brutal crime shocked the nation and exposed deep failures within local law enforcement oversight, leaving lasting scars on the community. The last known photograph of Tad Lincoln shows him in 1869 at age 16, just before his untimely death. The youngest son of Abraham Lincoln, Tad endured the trauma of his father's assassination and years of frail health. His passing marked the quiet end of a family defined by tragedy. A Polish woman sits reading a newspaper bearing the word Solidarność in the 1980s, while a cutout of Lenin hangs behind her. The quiet scene reflects a nation divided between fading communist control and a rising movement for freedom, with ordinary citizens embodying the courage of silent resistance. B-17 flying fortresses of the Bloody Hundredth soar across European skies in 1944, nicknamed for their heavy losses. These crews faced relentless anti-aircraft fire over Nazi Germany. Hard luck, leading the formation, symbolizes both the sacrifice and resilience of the men who braved the war's deadliest missions. A menorah glows in a German window during Hanukkah in 1931, its candles burning defiantly across from a Nazi flag. The image captures a moment of quiet faith before the horrors to come, when Jewish families still hoped tradition and light could outshine the growing darkness around them. A stern portrait shows Hungarian serial killer Bela Kiss in 1914, a soldier hiding monstrous crimes behind military uniform. Known as the Vampire of Sinkota, he murdered and preserved at least 24 women. His story became one of Europe's earliest and most chilling tales of concealed evil. An Afghan communist revolutionary in 1984 stands armed with an K-47, wearing traditional garb in Kabul. His image reflects the turbulent fusion of ideology and culture during Soviet occupation, when Afghanistan became a battlefield of superpowers and revolutions that would shape decades of regional conflict. The Soviet women's gymnastics team arrives in Mexico for the 1968 Olympics, embodying grace and discipline under the global gaze. Behind their smiles lay years of rigorous training and national pressure. as the Cold War transformed even athletic performance into a quiet contest of political pride. Tsar Nicholas II sits with his 5 children in 1913, their faces serene before the fall. The Romanov family appears untouched by the unrest sweeping Russia, unaware that revolution and exile await. This intimate portrait now stands as the calm before one of history's most tragic royal ends. Anton Drexler, founder of the Nazi Party, is photographed in 1920, a locksmith by trade. His nationalist ideas would later be expanded and weaponized by Adolf Hitler. Drexler's early movement, once small and obscure, became the ideological seed of one of humanity's darkest political chapters. Cuban liberation. Army officers of the South Matanzas Brigade posed together between 1895 and 1898. Their weathered faces and tattered uniforms reveal the strain of guerrilla warfare against Spain. Each man carries the look of determination that fueled a revolution for independence and the forging of a national identity. In June 1970, Soviet cosmonauts Georgy Beregovoy and Pavel Popovich present a hunting rifle to Neil Armstrong. The gesture, though symbolic, marked a rare moment of warmth between Cold War rivals, where scientific respect briefly overcame political divides in the shared legacy of space exploration. U.S. Army paratroopers leap from C-119 flying boxcar aircraft over Suncheon, Korea. In November 1950, the daring drop behind enemy lines was part of a high-risk operation during the Korean War. Each parachute opening above the battleground represents courage amid chaos, as men descended into the unknown. In Marseille, France, November 1945, one of the first SNCF Class 141R locomotives is unloaded from the Liberty ship Harold O. Wilson, built in America. These steam engines helped rebuild French railways devastated by war, symbolizing a new era of recovery and international cooperation after years of destruction. On April 13, 1990, Mikhail Gorbachev hands over files to Polish President Wojciech Jaruzelski, revealing Soviet responsibility for the Katyn Massacre. For the first time, Moscow acknowledged the execution of over 21,000 Polish officers in 1940, ending decades of denial and reshaping post-war historical truth between the two nations. In 1973, polar explorers sculpt an icy snowman called the Guardian of the Pole, standing alone amid endless white. It served as a whimsical symbol of human presence in Earth's most hostile environment, a frozen sentinel marking the endurance and humor that accompany extreme exploration. The USAAF B-17G Blue Streak falls from the sky in flames over Merseburg, Germany, November 1944, struck by flak mid-mission. Its descent symbolizes the peril faced by Allied airmen. Each burning wing told the story of courage, sacrifice, and the steep cost of victory in Europe's skies. A Texas cowboy poses in 1907. His weathered hat and confident stance capturing the last years of the Old West, as open ranges gave way to fences and modernization. Men like him became symbols of rugged independence and the fading frontier spirit that shaped American identity. A 1979 El Paso street view shows a blend of cultures and colors, where old storefronts and neon signs mark a city straddling two worlds. The image reflects the rhythm of the U.S.-Mexico border, ordinary lives unfolding at the intersection of history, heritage, and modern change. Spanish Civil Guard officers in Cuba, circa 1892. stand in formation during Spain's waning colonial rule. Their presence symbolizes the tightening grip of authority as nationalist uprisings grew. Within a few years, these very forces would face the collapse of Spanish control and the rise of Cuban independence. A woman in the 1860s is assisted as long poles lift her dress over wide crinoline hoops. The fashion, elegant yet impractical, defined Victorian society's obsession with refinement and restraint. The scene captures both the beauty and burden of appearance in an era of rigid social decorum. Serbian officers in 1914 pose on the eve of the Great War, unaware of the vast conflict about to engulf Europe. Their uniforms and confident faces conceal the uncertainty ahead, as their nation stands at the epicenter of an event that would forever change modern history. Students of Bonn American High School, class of 1980, gather for a group photo in West Germany's capital, representing families from U.S. diplomatic and military communities. Their smiles reflect a unique generation raised amid Cold War diplomacy, growing up between cultures in a divided yet hopeful Europe. Leopold von Sacher-Masoch, photographed in the 1870s, became an unintended symbol of psychology. His name gave rise to the term masochism, describing pleasure from pain. The author, known for his romantic and philosophical works, strongly disapproved of the label, yet his name forever linked literature with a complex human condition. 8 of the 9 young hikers of the Dyatlov Pass expedition are seen smiling before tragedy struck. In January 1959, they would perish in the Ural Mountains under mysterious circumstances. Their frozen bodies and bizarre injuries sparked endless theories, turning a student adventure into one of history's strangest cold cases. The crew of a TBF Avenger scrambles from their sinking aircraft beside the USS Cabot on September 6, 1943. The torpedo bomber had ditched during flight operations in the Pacific. In these tense moments, survival instinct took over as men escaped the steel tubes sinking into open sea. A quiet Japanese doll shop from 1915 displays rows of handcrafted figures, each painted with delicate precision. These traditional dolls represented cultural heritage, often tied to festivals and family rituals. The photo captures a moment of calm artistry before industrial modernization began transforming Japan's handmade traditions forever. Gleb Kotelnikov poses proudly beside a mannequin wearing his 1912 invention, the world's first knapsack parachute. Motivated by witnessing fatal air crashes, he designed a compact life-saving device for pilots. His innovation became the foundation for modern parachuting, changing aviation safety and ensuring countless lives would be spared in future skies. An aerial photograph from September 17, 1944, captures Bristol Beaufighters of the North Kuwait Strike Wing attacking German trawler-type ships south of Heligoland. Flying low over rough seas, the aircraft deliver precise strikes amid heavy anti-aircraft fire. The image shows the dangerous, daring missions that defined Allied coastal warfare. A B-17G Flying Fortress returns heavily damaged from a bombing run over Cologne in 1944. An anti-aircraft shell had exploded in its nose, destroying instruments and controls. Against all odds, the pilot managed to bring the crippled aircraft home, an act of courage that embodied the spirit of wartime aviators. Young Iranians gather in Tehran on June 7, 2005, campaigning for presidential candidate Akbar Hashemi Rafsanjani. Their raised banners and hopeful expressions reflect a generation balancing reformist dreams and conservative realities. The image captures a brief moment of political energy in a country where public enthusiasm often meets deep restraint. Children in Derry, Northern Ireland, dress as IRA fighters in the 1970s, mimicking adults in a divided land. Their wooden rifles and laughter contrast the violent backdrop of the Troubles. This haunting photo shows how conflict seeps into childhood, shaping identities long before understanding replaces imitation. St. John's Fair fills the old market square of Wałódź, Poland. On June 24, 1926, locals in colorful folk costumes celebrate with music, crafts, and dance, marking a centuries-old midsummer tradition. The vibrant scene stands as a snapshot of Poland's rural charm before decades of upheaval reshaped its cultural landscape. In Shanghai, 1932, a convicted kidnapper and murderer stands before a makeshift court. After his appeal is denied, the man is immediately bound to a post and executed by garrote. The grim public proceeding reflects the era's swift justice system and the harsh retribution common under early 20th century Chinese law. On a calm October day in 1967, Roger Patterson and Robert Gimlin captured the infamous Bigfoot footage at Bluff Creek, California. The brief film showing a mysterious figure walking through the woods became one of history's most debated pieces of evidence, dividing scientists and believers for generations. Austro-Hungarian River monitors fire against Romanian positions along the Danube in late 1916. These armored vessels, equipped with heavy guns, played crucial roles in controlling key waterways. The photograph captures the harsh, industrial nature of river warfare, where iron, smoke, and water combined in Europe's first modern mechanized conflict. The Dyatlov ski hiking expedition's final photograph, taken February 1, 1959, shows the group unaware of their fate. Hours later, all 9 would perish in the frozen Urals. Official reports blamed an avalanche, but strange injuries and missing belongings fueled decades of speculation about what truly happened that night. Evan Unger and Gladys Roy balance on the wings of a moving biplane in 1925, casually playing tennis thousands of feet above ground. The stunt symbolizes the daring spirit of the Roaring '20s, when aviation was new, and death-defying acts thrilled audiences hungry for spectacle and adventure. In January 1959, Yuri Yudin embraces Ludmila Dubinina as Igor Dyatlov looks on. Yuri, leaving due to illness, would be the last to see his 9 friends alive. The farewell, captured in a simple photograph, became a chilling moment of fate in one of Russia's greatest unsolved mysteries. Students at Augustana College react with disbelief to the 1995 O.J. Simpson verdict. Some cheer, others cover their faces, reflecting a nation deeply divided. The moment encapsulated America's racial, cultural, and media tensions of the decade, turning a courtroom decision into one of modern history's defining public reactions. In 1975, North Korean leader Kim Il-sung meets Algerian President Houari Boumediene. The meeting symbolizes Cold War solidarity among non-aligned nations seeking independence from Western influence. Both leaders used diplomacy to strengthen ideological ties, reflecting the era's global struggle for balance between socialist movements and emerging national identities. On October 19, 1994, a suicide bombing struck a crowded bus on Dizengoff Street in Tel Aviv, killing and injuring dozens. The blast marked one of the deadliest attacks of the decade, a grim symbol of the Israeli-Palestinian conflict's ongoing cycle of violence and retaliation that scarred countless lives. A family enjoys a picnic surrounded by trained alligators at Los Angeles, California Alligator Farm. An attraction open from 1907 to 1953, visitors could walk among hundreds of reptiles in controlled ponds. The scene reflects an era of fascination with danger, when public amusement often brushed against the edge of fear. A young worker, one of the Radium Girls, paints glowing numbers on watch dials at a New Jersey factory in 1916, unaware of the danger. She licks her brush to keep a fine tip, ingesting radioactive material. Years later, their suffering exposed the deadly cost of industrial negligence.